Hey, this is Joe from HomeStudioCorner.com. What's better than doubling a guitar part? Nothing? I think there are some better options. Perhaps tripling sometimes comes in place. I talked about this previously, fairly recently with vocals, but I want to show you a quick example of tripling an acoustic guitar and how much impact that can have on a song. I can't believe it took me so long to try this and experiment with this, but for years I just thought that if you have your songs can either have one acoustic guitar or two, one up the middle or have them panned left and right. Okay, and that's it. If rarely would there ever be a third rhythm acoustic guitar part, right? That just seemed ridiculous. Why would you ever do that? And you could make a good argument for not doing that. It could muddy up the mix. It could just cause confusion. It could just be more sound that doesn't help the song. But what about those songs where, let's say, the first verse and chorus is just an acoustic guitar and a lead vocal, and then you want to bring in another guitar, maybe for verse two, like we have here in the song in front of you? Well, historically, you don't want to have the main guitar be off to the left for the first minute and a half of the song. That starts to get a little weird, right? But when it gets to verse two, you want things to be nice and wide in stereo. You want to take advantage of that, especially when the song is just an acoustic vocal type song. So a lot of times what I've done in the past is for the first verse and chorus, I have the main guitar panned to the center or just a little bit off to the left. And then when that second verse comes around, I automate the panning to send it over far to the left, and then the second guitar comes in on the right. Now that can work, it's just sometimes it sounds awkward because you can tell that that guitar just moved. It was right in front of you and then it moved off to the side and another one came in on the other side. I'm not saying that's wrong, but with a simple song like this, sometimes having things moving around doesn't seem to fit the song. It's a simple song. You tend to want things to stay in one place instead of running around in the stereo spectrum. So what I did on this song, it was an acoustic guitar vocal song, real simple, but I didn't want just one guitar. I wanted at least two. So I recorded the first guitar all the way through, as you can see here, song start to finish. And then at verse 2, the second guitar came in. But I couldn't figure out while I was recording how I would end up panning them in the mix. So I grabbed a different guitar and played a different part for a third guitar part. So it's a little more of a lead part here in the verses, and then when it gets to the chorus, it's literally just strumming along the same thing as the other two guitars. And as I was recording it, I said, there's no way this is going to work. It's three guitars is silly. I'm just doing it to see what happens. And I'm so glad I did, because what happened was awesome. So let me just let you hear it. I'm going to let you hear a few bars of the one guitar, and then as the other guitars come in, listen to how it opens up. I've got the vocal muted so you can just hear the guitars. Here we go. So starting out, it's nothing earth-shattering. The second guitar is playing the same thing as the first guitar. And then this left guitar is really just playing more of a lead part right now. Diamond chord, and then this. Okay, it's very simple. So there's not a lot of earth-shatteringness happening here. But when it gets into the chorus, that's where things, I think, get interesting, because essentially they're all three playing the exact same part, and it still works. Let me find the chorus now. You know, I guess it was over here in this final chorus. My apologies. Here we go. Let's get rid of all too many people singing. Let's mute all the vocals. You hear what's happening there? We've got the original guitar right up the middle. We've got another guitar coming on the right side. Kind of playing the same thing with a capo. And then this open tuning guitar comes in on the left and is playing, basically strumming along with a few little riffs in there in between phrases. And it doesn't sound crazy. It just sounds normal and natural. Listen to it without the middle guitar. This is probably what you're used to hearing if you do a lot of doubled acoustic guitars. Something like this. And that's fine. It's pretty. But this middle guitar gives us a more of a center. So the left guitar can do some more lead stuff. The rhythm stays a little more in the middle, and it keeps the stereo width, but gives us some more thickness in the middle. I'm going to hit playback and then bring that first guitar in after a couple bars. So there you go. 3 guitars can work in a song. It's important to note that these are not 3 guitars playing the exact same part. Guitar 1 is, this song's in G. So guitar 1 is no capo, standard tuning. Guitar 2 is a capo, I believe, way up on like maybe the 7th fret, somewhere up there, with a lot of high chimey stuff. And then guitar 3 is in DADGAD tuning. I think it's also capo, maybe capo 5. So there are 3 very different sounds. Guitar 3 is a different guitar entirely. So that's a part of what allows it to work. But even if you only have 1 guitar, you should experiment, if the song calls for it, with adding in a 3rd guitar and seeing if you can work out that balance. Again, this isn't a mixing technique. This is a recording technique. You need to think ahead while you're recording, where's this going to sit in the stereo spectrum, especially on a very simple song like this, where you may only have 2 or 3 rhythm instruments. How are they going to balance each other in the stereo spectrum? If you can think more about that during recording, I guarantee your recordings and your mixes are going to benefit from it. Now, if you want to see how this entire song was recorded and mixed from start to finish, I actually did I think it was a 4-part series for my VIP members, where we recorded and mixed this song start to finish. So if that's something you want to check out more in depth, you can check out my VIP membership over at homestudiocorner.com/VIP. Otherwise, thanks for being a subscriber. See you next week.